When keeping God's command, keeping God's command. Midweek meditation,
Hey, shalom Israel, shalom, shalom. I pray everybody is doing well. I pray y'all in the spirit. It's midweek meditations, It's the middle of the week, and we need that spiritual recharge to get us through the rest of the week. We need to get ourselves to the Sabbath, right? So with that being said, we're here to dive into the scriptures together as brothers and sisters, as family, as those who care about each other, as those who are on one accord with understanding that God has blessed us with the inheritance, with the heritage, with something that, he hasn't given everyone else. We got something special, and that's what it's all about today, is coming together with that understanding and using that understanding to our advantage so that we can actually capitalize on that. So, today we're going to talk about our inheritance. Today's topic is they stole your inheritance. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. We're going to dive into a couple of scriptures here, things that I've been meditating on, things that I was thinking about and saying, you know what? Now that I have read this, now that I have understanding of this, I better do something with that understanding. If I know better, I better do better. A lot of us act like we know so much, but it doesn't show in our actions. And the difference between that person and the successful person is they actually do something about the information that they have. They take it and use it to their advantage. So what are you going to do? Are you going to begin to use this Bible to your advantage? Are you going to begin to change your life for the better? Are you going to begin to apply the things that are written in this word so that it's actually useful to you? Or are you just going to quote it and then not use it to your advantage? Or are you just going to, act holy and act sanctified, but in reality still be a devil? And at the end of the day, be one of those perhaps that say, Lord, Lord, didn't we cast out devils in your name? Oh, nope. I never knew you. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So let's meditate on something for today. Now, here we are. We're logged in. Some of you are on Facebook. Some of you are on YouTube. Some of you are on Periscope. Whatever platform you're on, please share that broadcast right now. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and share this on your wall, your timeline. Send it in Messenger. Send it to a couple of friends in a text message. Whatever you have to do to help get this gospel spread across the four corners of this earth. Because when the Bible tells you that we got to get out on these highways and spread it, clearly he wasn't talking about preaching to cars. We got to get to these major places of traffic, of human traffic, to where someone can hear this word. And this is one of the major ways that we're able to do it, through social media and technology. Not the only way, but one of the many ways that we have to go about pushing this gospel. So I pray that you have already hit that share button. I know some of you who are dedicated. I see you, Ariel. I see you, Letitia. I see you, Ivory. I see all the people who are logged in right now. But there could be a couple of more logged in if it was you who hit that share button. So get your mother, your father, your sister, your uncle. Go tell your kids, hey, put the video games down. Hey, let's go ahead and watch a little bit of midweek meditation. And if we do that, then how much further will we go with ourselves? Because we got to get a little bit of righteousness on our timeline. Somebody right now has plenty of foolishness. You got all the latest twerk videos scrolling down your timeline. You got all the memes of this and the memes of that have all to do with sin. But do you have anything that's righteous on your timeline? Today could be your day. So let's get started for today. The topic again, they took your inheritance. Now we got to think about this. As we start in Psalm 1:11 and 6, we're going to really think about this word inheritance. We're going to think about the word inheritance and where it comes from, what it means, what it's stemming from. And we're going to go through the Bible and really, meditate. Psalms 111 and 6. He have showed his people the power of his works. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love when I see words like his, because it's a possessive pronoun, and that means God is showing that he has possession of a certain people, and there's other people that don't fit into that category. So, he have shown his people, not all people, but his people, the power of his works, the works that he's done, because works have been done by other entities as well, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. So one of the powerful works that the Most High God has done for his people, and this backs up what I just said, that not all people are included in the his people. There's a heathen people and there's a his people. The heathen are in one space, his people are in another space. His people, as it reads from the top, he have showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. The them is referring back to that original possessive pronoun of his people. His people are going to receive the heritage of the heathen. Now, when we start here, we got to think about it. That means something of another people is going to be given to his people. The heathen are all of those that are not considered the Israelites, right? Those are the ones that are not the God-fearing, God commandment-keeping people, right? Those who were not even given the laws, right? So it says, verse 7, the works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. So all the commandments that are written in the Bible, they are not to be questioned. They are not to be, thought of as maybe that's not a good idea. No, what God says is sure. What God says is sure. It says they stand fast forever and ever. Those commandments that he just talked about that are sure, they stand fast. For how long? Some people may think just during Bible times. Some people may think just during the Old Testament period. But the Bible says here that they stand fast and forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. When you do the commandments, it's not just the application of them in a wicked way, but the application in truth and uprightness. Because you can fast, but are you doing it the right way? You can, not buy anything on the Sabbath day, but were you doing it the right way? You can, have a beef rib, but, do you have the pork rib as well? You can do it, right? But it says that they're done in truth and uprightness, meaning there's the right spirit behind it, and the other things that surround it are also in the right spirit. The other things around it are also in accordance to the law, because a lot of us think that we're so righteous and we're so holy because we keep one of the laws, that we do some semblance of righteousness, but we have to do them in truth and uprightness, and that encompasses so much more than just a few things that we do. So when God showed his people the power of his works, he gave us, because we're his people, the heritage of the heathen. But the thing about the giving of the heritage of the heathen is the works of his hand came by the fact that the commandments were there. They stand forever and ever. Those commandments don't go away. And they're done in truth and uprightness. When you do them, you're actually in the midst of righteousness. Unlike when you do unrighteousness, you're not in the midst of righteousness. So here we go. We read on. It says, he sent redemption unto his people. See, for some reason, the whole world thinks the redemption is for them. But if the redemption is for them, then how is it that it can be for someone else at the same time? Because you have to be redeemed from someone else. Now, the people are going to say, it's them that just do bad. No, we already see that it's about the commandments. It's them that have the commandments and keep the commandments that's important to consider. It says, he sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever. So I wanted to start here for a reason, because this is midweek meditation. That's what we're doing today. We're meditating, right? We're getting our mind set on the right thing. And in understanding the Bible, we get the best understanding of the Bible when you actually do the commandments. See, you can be a scholar and say, you know what, I've read all the books of the Bible, and I have them memorized, and I've read them 10 times. I've read the whole Bible so many times, because that's a lot of people's claim to fame is, well, I read the whole Bible. Okay, and that makes you no better than the next person unless you're actually doing the commandments. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. See, a certain level of fear is required to be a true believer. You know, the fear and understanding that God created you and he can take you out of this world that he created you within. The fear is to say that he can choose to have a favorite. He can choose to let one person live and one person die. He can choose to let diseases or floods or fires or whatever natural disasters to occur. Having that proper fear and understanding then gives you better understanding on all the other things that are associated with it. So now we're going to go up a couple of chapters. We're going to stay in Psalms a few times. Go to 119 and verse 111. I see you, Wanda. I see you, Elijah. Hey, Elijah, go ahead and hit that share button. Get all your friends. I know you got about 1,000 followers right now. I see you, Zeke Beats. I see you. Hey, Zeke, I need to hear some of the beats. Let's go ahead and figure something out and get these beats rolling. Holler at me after class. We'll talk about it. All right. So let's get back into the Bible. 119, Psalms 119 and 111. Thy testimonies have I taken as an heritage forever, for they are the rejoicing of my heart. The testimonies. So we got to look back. God said that he gave them the heritage of the heathen. Then he's also saying the testimonies are a heritage forever. The testimonies, those things that we can look back. What is a testimony? So when you look at the word testimony, you know, the Strong's word for it is the witness. Those witness accounts of how God has continuously done something for the chosen seed over and over again. He worked a miracle in each of these lifetimes. He chose some of the least likely candidates to be the one to pass it on. And that recorded history, which we have in the Bible, becomes that witness and becomes that testimony. And that is what has been taken as a heritage forever. For they are rejoicing in my heart. I have inclined my heart to perform thy statutes always, even unto the end. And guess what? Those statutes, those relate to those laws. Those relate to those commandments. And once again, it's talking about how long they're lasting. They're lasting unto the end. It's something that we should be doing forever. See, you know, you got someone on here right now that thinks God's laws are done away with. You got someone on here right now, or maybe you know somebody who thinks God's laws are done away with, but you yourself, you believe that God's laws endure to the end. So you might need to get them on the line right now and say, you know what? What the brother is bringing out today in Psalms is pretty good. It's pretty convincing. It's something that my friend, my family should hear. Hey, hit that share button. Because as we proceed and we go a little further, we're going to go to, matter of fact, I got to read just a little bit more. I can't just stop right here. 113 says this: I hate vain thoughts, but the law do I love. See, a lot of people think of everything but the law. Those are vain thoughts. God said, thou shalt not. You say, well, how do I find a way to do it and get away with it? Thou shalt. Those are vain thoughts. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, I can't have a girlfriend. Vain thought. Thou shalt not be effeminate. Well, you know, it's 2020 and I can dress in women's pants. I can dress in a woman's garment. I can dress, you know, I can go into, you know, LGBT, elemental P, Q, R, S, all of the different letters of contrariness to what God has said do. you begin to say, I can do it. Those are vain thoughts. It says, I hate vain thoughts, but the law do I love. The things that are contrary to the law, we got to learn to hate. See, we love sin a little too much, and it makes us give concession for it. We love sin a little too much, and it makes us be comfortable when the sinners are around us. We love sin a little too much that makes us give excuse and then end up fighting the wrong cause. It says, thou art my hiding place and my shield. I hope in thy word. Now, depart from me, ye evildoers, and I will keep the commandments of my God. That's the type of spirit that we got to be in if we want that inheritance, those testimonies, to really work for us forever. Because guess what? Other people have stolen your testimonies and said they were theirs. You're supposed to be God's chosen people. You're supposed to be the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You're supposed to be the ones that were from the city of David. But yet another group of people has said, no, that's my history. That's my testimony. So let's go to Psalm 135. This is Psalm 135, verse 12. And gave their land for an inheritance unto Israel his people. See, God gave their land for inheritance unto Israel his people. That's what we read earlier, the heathen. So let's go up and see if we're talking about the heathen. Verse, we got to go up a couple of, we go up to, let's go to 5. Let's go to 5. You're going to make me read this chapter, ain't you? Okay, we're going to read 1 down all the way to 12. Okay, how about that? It says, praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the name of the Lord. Praise him. O ye servants of the Lord. Who are the servants of the Lord? This message is going to the servants of the Lord. If you are an Israelite, he's talking to you right now. For those of you who are descendants of the slave trade and the other curses that are written in Deuteronomy chapter 28, this message goes to you. Praise ye the Lord. Okay, verse 2, it says, ye that stand in the house of the Lord, in the courts of the house of our God, praise the Lord, for the Lord is good. Sing praises unto his name, for it is pleasant. We sing praises unto everything but God. But, as I read on, for the Lord hath chosen Jacob unto himself. How dare God choose someone special to himself? That's what he did. That's what he did. And Israel for his peculiar treasure. So, not only did he choose the individual Jacob, but he chose the nation of Israel to be a peculiar treasure unto himself. Now, you want to be considered a part of that peculiar treasure, right? Or you just want to be, regular. You just want to be, nothing special, no treasure involved. You're not far above Ruby, sister. You're not valued at the gold of a fair brother. You just, regular. Is that what you want to be? No. If you're really a wise person, see, I can't stand when I talk to people who don't even want to be great, who don't want any value, who don't want any legacy, who don't want any heritage. But I love when I get around my people who actually want to be the kings in the building, who actually want to be those priests, those holy people, those righteous people, who want to have a name for themselves in positivity. See, a lot of people are cool with being negative in their name. They want to be known for the wickedness that they do. Some of y'all are cool with that. But God said that you're a peculiar treasure. Verse 5 says, for I know that the Lord is great, and that our Lord is above all gods. So there are gods, little demigods, little fake gods here and there. But our God is the Lord above all of them. Our God. See, that's another possessive pronoun. And everybody is so quick to let everybody in on it. But God has made it to where it's very peculiar. God has made it to where it's very selective. God has made it to where, it's members only. VIP. So, verse 6. Whatsoever the Lord pleased, that he did in heaven and in earth and seas and all deep places. God do what he want to do. And who are you to question it? Who are you to say, what kind of God would do this? The God that is the God of all gods would do that. Verse 7. He causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings for the rain. He bringeth the wind out of his treasuries. Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both man and beast? Who did that? God, the Most High God. Who sent tokens and wonders into the midst of thee, O Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his servants? Who smote great nations, slew mighty kings? Sihon, king of the Amorites, who slew him? And Og, king of Bashan, who slew him? And all the kingdoms of Canaan, who slew all of these nations? And then gave us the land of Canaan. And God gave their land for a heritage, and a heritage unto Israel, his people. He dealt with the Egyptians. He dealt with the Amorites. He dealt with the people in Bashan. He dealt with the people of Canaan, and he gave it to us, the Israelites. You know, that's a powerful thing, because a lot of people take, and they get theirs. But God gave us ours. Nothing that we take on our own accord. We had God ordain it. We had God give the approval. So it wasn't in wickedness that it happened. It was authorized. So now we're going to go to the next chapter. 136, verse 21. And God gave their land for inheritance, for his mercy endure forever. So, just like we read in the previous chapter. Matter of fact, I got to read up. I like how it says it here. Verse 17. To him which smote great kings, for his mercy endureth forever. We got to talk about that mercy enduring forever, because his laws endure forever, his mercy endure forever. Those things are working together. You're getting mercy because of those laws. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his mercy endure forever. That's why he took away the Amorites. That was the mercy that was being bestowed upon us. And Og, king of Bashan, for his mercy endure forever. But verse 18 said this. I skipped this. And it said, and slew famous kings. See, I like that it says famous kings, to let you know that he went for the top heads. He was snatching crowns. He wasn't playing games. He wasn't dealing with people who ain't to be dealt with, who got nothing to take anyway. He was taking the best of the best. You got the title belt, I want it. You got the top seat, I'm taking it, and I'm giving it to mine. So it says, even inheritance unto Israel, his servant, for his mercy endureth forever. Even a heritage unto Israel his servant, for his mercy endureth forever. So when he gave the heritage, he gave it to Israel, and it was the understanding that his mercy endured forever. Chapter 127. It says in chapter 127, verse 3, Psalm 127, verse 3, I see you, P. Don Mega. I see you, Nikki Hines. I see you. Hit that share button. I see you, CJ. Hit the share button. Get your friends, your family on the line, because somebody needs a little bit of encouragement to understand that God's chosen people actually are supposed to be getting something out of the deal. But they got to keep their end of the deal. Somebody needs to hear this message that, wait a minute, God did these things for me. God took down kings for me. I'm just a little boy from the projects. I'm just a girl that grew up over here and over there. I'm a sinner. I got these issues. No, God took out kings for you. God took land for you. But, you know, in 2020, all we want to do is be equal. Give us civil rights, please. Just civil, you know. Let us eat at your table with you. You know, can I drink from your water fountain, please? Please, 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 right? That's the type of mindset that we have. I see you, Monica. Great job with the class today. We got people interested. We need to share this message because we need to encourage our people to be more thoughtful beyond the place that we are now. See, right now, you know, the best we can hope for is someone be kind to us. But if we really get our mind right, the best we can hope for is God's mercy to endure forever, and he just do it again. He do what he did last time. And what did he do last time? He took out kings for you. He took out nations for you. He took out land and gave it to you. See, you struggling right now to get a piece of property. You struggling right now to get some ownership of some land. But God can turn that thing over in any minute now. So we read on. We read on. 127 verse 3. It says, lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. So we talked about land. But children are an heritage of the Lord. And the fruit of the womb is his reward. See, I like that Monica's online right now. Because I wanted to understand how my mind be working. And my mind be thinking about the fact that children are our future. And children are our future. That means that we got to invest in that future. That means that we got to put effort into that future so that they can help us gain and keep the inheritance. It says, lo, children are inheritance of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. And that's the reason why I like to mention, the politics of things. One of the things that we deal with within the politics is abortion. And so many women want to fight for their right to abort their child. And while, yes, you're the one with the female body, no one's taking that away from you. And you get to make the decision on what's going on in your body. No one's taking that away from you that you have a say in that. Okay. But God has a more ultimate say. And God says, thou shalt not kill. So we have to be careful with the things that we allowed to do in our society, because when we allow them, they may then take away from and go against God's commandments, which is why, what we were reading about earlier, that his law endure forever. We were reading about earlier that you have a better understanding when you actually keep the commandments. So we read this and it says, children are an heritage of the Lord. That's letting you know, that's reminding you of be fruitful and multiply. That's reminding you that God wanted us to replenish the earth and then subdue it. That's reminding you that there is something important about the children, and we shouldn't take it for granted when we have them. We should be careful who we make babies with. We should want to make multiple children. A lot of people think 1 times 1 is 1. That's multiplication. That's doing being fruitful and multiply, right? Well, yes, that is. 1 times 1 is 1. But let's not be overly smart here. God is telling you to reproduce. God is telling you to populate. And if we do it the right way, if we take consideration and do things decently and in order, we'll have the ability to raise these kids properly. We'll have the health to bring forth these children properly. We'll have the resources, etc., etc., etc. It says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. See, arrows, if you don't know it, they're weapons. Calm down. Calm down. I'm not saying make little baby soldiers. What I'm saying is it's to our advantage to be able to prosper, to be able to grow, and to have children. Because we can keep our legacy going. We can keep our heritage going. We can show strength in our numbers. But we want to forget that Margaret Sanger brought forth the Planned Parenthood and put that in our communities as a eugenics project to control the population. They were dealing wisely with us, just like Pharaoh was doing in Egypt when he wanted to kill the newborn babies. I need you to consider that. It says, happy is a man that have his quiver full of them. You should be happy to have children. A lot of people are not, and that's understandable. Everybody ain't got that godly spirit, right? Some people want to go run the streets, and a child is too restrictive. Some people need to go to the club, and they need to go get with, do all type of sin. And sin makes them not want to have the children. But when you're in the righteous spirit, you'll be a happy person when you have a quiver full of children. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. See, something about the enemies is being related to this verse here about children. The enemy don't want you to have children like that. The enemy don't want you to have them, don't want you to educate them, don't want you to nourish them. If I can keep you from having so many, if I can keep them uneducated, if I can keep them, not as strong as they could be. Because you look around at us as a people, God has blessed us with such talent. We're the strongest, we're the fastest, we jump the highest, we sing the best, we cook the best. We do all these things so great. And that's the thing that the nations a lot of time can't understand on what the source of our greatness is. And then someone told them, Judah 5:20 said that it was all about God, and it was him fighting our battles and him putting a spirit in us as long as we kept the commandments. Ain't that like what we were reading earlier today, though? That's what it's all about. It's all about having that spirit to do the right thing, so that God can then give you the benefits of you doing that right thing. I see you, Couture. Hit that share button and then make application of what we hear today, right? So it says, we're going to go to we're going to go to Isaiah 58. We spent enough time in Psalm. If I go to every verse that talks about this, we'll be here all night. I got to get through it, right? Isaiah 58:14. It says, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride on high. Cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. And see, we got to think about this right here. We got to meditate on this right here. God is going to feed thee with the heritage of Jacob. What is the heritage of Jacob? Well, we've been talking about it some today. We've been talking about the laws. We've been talking about the land. We've been talking about the children. God is going to nourish us with this heritage. See, and that nourishment, this right here, what we're doing right now, this meditation, this should be feeding your spirit. This should be nourishing your spirit, that will then encourage you to grow in the spirit, which will then encourage you to do things in the spirit, which will then encourage you to make change, not only in your life, but the lives around you. So you'll no longer be that whoremonger, that adulterer. You'll no longer be that hateful person, that talebearer. You'll no longer be gluttonous. You'll no longer be in the midst of sin, but instead you'll be in the midst of righteousness and holiness. Let's go to verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing the pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking mine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord. And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. I go here because there's a brother, there's a sister right here, right now, that's struggling to keep the Sabbath. And you've heard of the Sabbath. You know about the Sabbath, but you ain't doing it. And you're not making any effort to do it. But God said, if you will do what I need you to do on the Sabbath day, on this seventh day of the week, give me some attention. Make this a holy day. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Call the Sabbath a delight. The holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then he's going to set you on high. So do you want to be on high? Because see, it's unfortunate, but many of my people don't really want greatness. They don't want to be set above anyone else. They don't want to be a king. They just want to be the court jester. They just want to be the pauper. They don't want anything of value. But there's you, who actually wants to be great. And the only thing holding you back is sin. And that's why we got to share messages like this. Because people think greatness is in being, in the Hall of Fame of a sport. People think greatness is how many albums you sold. How many billions of dollars came in at the box office. But that's just entertainment. There's greatness in being a leader within your nation. There's greatness within being a great example to those who come after you. There's greatness in being the king, having rulership of your spirit, being the king in your own domain. Like, see, most of you can't even be the king of the address that you live at, let alone, run a town, a city, a state, a country. You can't do that because you can't run your house. But God is telling you that he's going to give you the heritage of Jacob thy father, which will teach you how to run your house, which will teach you how to then go from the small things to the big things. Be faithful and small. Make you ruler over many. Let's go to Jeremiah 12:7. I see you, Barry. Jeremiah 12:7. You know, you got to hit the share button. Facebook keep changing things up on me, but that's okay. I can share. I'm going to share on Twitter. I'm going to share on Facebook. And I'm going to start, sharing everywhere. So it says here, Jeremiah 12:7. For I have forsaken mine house and have left mine inheritance. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. So we just talked about enemies and how they at the gate looking at you and your children, right? But Jeremiah here is lamenting over the loss of his heritage. Jeremiah, if you're reading in the book of Jeremiah, you see how we lost a lot. The wicked are prospering and the Israelites are being ruined. It says, my inheritance is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me, therefore I have hated it. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. Pastors, those who are supposed to be overseeing the flock of God, have destroyed the vineyard. They have trodden down the portion under the foot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. You know, some of the people who are supposed to be building us up have actually made us worse. Even though in their position of power, you end up in a desolate wilderness because no man layeth it to heart. Nobody's taking true care, consideration, and concern about what's going on. Verse 12, the spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. There are people that are coming to spoil your heritage. For the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even unto the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace. They have sown wheat, but shall reap thorns. They have put themselves to pain, but shall not profit. That's us, Israel. We put a lot of work in, but get so little out of it. That's a sign that our heritage is not in the right place. And they shall be ashamed of your revenues because of fierce anger of the Lord. When people look at you, they're looking at you and saying, this is all you got out of what you're doing? This is all the value that has come out of what you're doing? There's a problem here. Verse 14, thus saith the Lord against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. So we're supposed to have this land that we got from the other nations, that God gave us, but we'll lose that inheritance. We'll lose that land. We'll be plucked out of that land. And it shall come to pass that I have plucked them out. I will return and have compassion on them and will bring them again. So there is a turning point. Even though we're in the middle of being plucked out of our land, there comes a point in time where God will show compassion and bring us back again. See, God never leaves you forsaken. Remember, his mercy endureth forever. His mercy endureth forever. Thank you for sharing. I see you and I appreciate you. That's the thing. His mercy endureth forever, right? And I will bring them again, every man to his heritage. God is going to bring us back to our heritage. And every man to his land. God is going to bring us back to our land. And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, the Lord liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall they be built in the midst of my people. So here we go. God is calling you to be diligent. See, a lot of us, we're the exact opposite of diligent. We don't do nothing. We don't do anything with that type of spirit. Let's look up the word diligent. And if we do something, it's maintain the state of this world. Diligent means having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Do you do that toward God's work, God's vineyard? Do you show care towards God's vineyard, Couture? Do you show conscientiousness in one's work or duty toward God, Barry? You know, Ezekiel, Monica, what kind of thought process do you have toward what God is asking of you? Are you showing diligence? So you have to diligently learn the ways of the people. Okay, so let's talk about the learning part. Most people, we learn in microwave fashion. We need it so quick that it doesn't really take enough time to get true understanding, for it to gel. Microwave society allows you to Google something and think you know something, to watch a quick YouTube video and think you're a scholar. Whereas there are some people who really are going about doing that scholarly work. So do you diligently learn? Because that's what God is asking you to do. The ways of his people. See, some of you have known that you're Israel for so long, but you still don't know much other than that. You know a couple of precepts, but your knowledge is going to be shown through your actions. If you know better, you're going to do better. But if you're still that brother that's in the midst of adultery, you don't know nothing. If you're still that sister that's in the midst of adultery, you don't know anything. You're proving that you don't know much. You've been learning for how long, but you're still doing what you know is wrong? No fear of the Lord. No diligently learning to do the ways of his people, because the ways of God's people don't do that. God's people don't have hatred toward one another. God's people don't sow discord. God's people don't backbite. God's people do not make themselves their own worst enemy. The Lord liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal. It says here, if you will learn at the same type of intensity and capacity that you learn how to do evil, if you will learn to do good at that rate, you'll be good. Now, God do want you to do it 10 times harder than you would have did it in wickedness. But if you could at least match that energy, because some of you don't. See, you got these fake holidays that come and go, and you have your holidays that you know nothing about. But you are saving money all year round to purchase Christmas presents. It's not even December, and you already got your tree up. You got lights up. You got presents on layaway or already purchased. But the new moon come and go, and you forgot that it was coming. The Day of Atonement is here. I wasn't prepared to fast. Tabernacles come. I wasn't prepared to do tabernacles. I wasn't prepared I didn't save any money for Passover. But if it was something wicked, you'd have the money. You find a way to get those Christmas presents, you'll take payday loans for that. You find a way to get somebody a Valentine's gift, a birthday present. But do you find a way to serve the Lord? It says, it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, the Lord liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, at that same intensity, then shall they be built in the midst of my people. If you could just do it at that level, then you'd be good. But don't let me weigh on that too long. Let me read on. But if they will not obey, which is the pattern that most of our people have, we learn We hear, we're aware, but we will not obey. I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, said the Lord. God said he was going to pluck up the nation if you won't obey. And that's where we are. And the thing is, we're in a cycle. We're repetition. The thing that has been is that which shall be. These things that happen over and over again. The prophecies that you saw once, you'll see twice. The thing is, a lot of people get stuck on the fact that they say, oh, well, this already happened. So what? It can happen again. It can happen, as many times as the Lord sees fit. Matter of fact, let me find something real quick. I'm going to come back to it. I'm trying to remember how this verse go. But you got to think about it. There's no new thing under the sun. Let's get that then. That'll be a good verse. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So God plucked you up before, and he'll do it again. You worship Baal before, and you'll do it again. But you came out of captivity before, and you served God with all your heart, and you kept the commandments, and you'll do it again. And until we get it right, we're going to keep doing these things again. See, God repeats his story because he know we hard-headed. He says it over again, thinking one day they finally going to get it. Man, I pray we do. And I know we will, because I believe the prophecies to be true. Hey, sis, Couture, I see you making a little confession. That's what it's all about. You're not doing enough. You have improvements to make. Make those improvements. The first thing you got to do is confess, then you forsake. So whatever you're doing wrong, forsake it. Confess it, forsake it, and then do better. And you got to get from under your own rock. You got to get off your own island. Brothers can't do it by themselves. Sisters can't do it by themselves. Find a way to indulge in the spirit, like you indulge in those earthly, worldly pleasures. Hit that share button if you like what's going on, because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hit that like button. Someone needs to subscribe on Facebook to make sure they get all the notifications. On YouTube, on Periscope to get these notifications. So we read on. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Man, you made God angry. And somebody don't care. Somebody don't care that God's angry. That's why they keep doing it. God is angry and the fire burns within him, and he snatched the heritage that he gave back to you. You think about it, for those of you who are parents. You buy your kid a game, a toy, but he make you mad and you take it from him. You take it from her. That's how God does us, but on a much grander scale. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. Cursed be each and every one of you who has more trust in the president, who has more trust in the person who employs them, who has more trust in the people around them that have no heaven to put them in. Cursed be that person. So now we're going to go look up the definition of heritage, because we've been talking about inheritance and we've talked about heritage, and we got to understand the relation between the two. So the definition of heritage is this: something that is handed down from the past. as a tradition, a national heritage of honor, pride, and courage. See, one of the things that's getting passed down to us is honor. One of the things that's getting passed down to us is pride, is courage. But many of us have lost the courage to keep God's commandments. Many of us have lost the ability to see pride, to be proud of your nation. You lost that. Many of us have that. There's no honor to our nation. We've lost that. The next thing it says is something that comes that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth. See, we earn our heritage by birth. We're guaranteed this by birthright. And that's something that we also take for granted. We think that there is no birthright. We're just as bad as Esau. Esau gave away his, and now you're willing to give away yours. You got the spirit of Esau on you. He has deceived you into thinking that that's cool. But it's not. You got to be so proud of what your father gave you. Your father gave you the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Your father gave you the nationality known as Israel. You're an Israelite. You're not a Negro. You're not a Latino. You're not a Native American. You're not whatever byword that you've been called across this world, but you are Israel. He gave you that. But you ain't got no pride in that. You don't care. All you care about is, Louis Vuitton. All you care about is Ciroc and Hennessy. All you care about is foreign cars. And those are corruptible things. Now we're going to go and read on. It says, I got to reread part of it. It says something that comes or belongs to a person by birth. An inherited lot or a portion. Heritage of poverty. That's what we got now. Heritage of suffering. We surely got that now. And something reserved for the heritage of the righteous. The law says something like legal system. Something that has been or may be inherited by legal descent or succession. So you get this by succession. It's passed down generation to generation, and you succeed your father, you get that. It's your father's land. He passed it down to you, now it's your land. It says any property, especially land, that devotes by right of inheritance. God has given us so much. Genesis 31 and 14. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? That's a question. And the reason that's a question is because it was important to people. People expected to get a inheritance. They expected something to get passed down to them. But we don't expect that today. You sisters, you don't expect to get anything from your parents. You brothers, you don't expect to get anything from your parents. You brothers and sisters, you're not thinking to leave anything to your children. Reading on, it says, to many, in Numbers chapter 26, verse 54, to many thou shalt give the more inheritance, and to few thou shalt give the less inheritance. To everyone shall his inheritance be given according to those that were numbered of him. Everybody's supposed to get an inheritance here. Joshua 1 and 6. Be strong and of good courage, for this people shall be divided for inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. See, that's the stipulation of you getting your inheritance, is being strong and courageous to observe to do the law. You know, that thing that most of us don't consider, that thing that most of us try to find an excuse on how not to do, that thing that most of us try to find a way to minimize. That's all you got to do to get your inheritance, is be courageous in the law. Courageous in keeping that law. Observe to do that law. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left. Stay right there, focused. Don't deviate, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. That's where your prosperity coming in. There's a brother right now that's wondering why he can't ever get above water. Why no matter how hard he works, he's not receiving the blessing. You work so hard, but you never get the benefit, and they looking at you like, man, I don't even understand, as we read in a previous verse. I see you, Elijah. You're supposed to be in the midst of prosperity, and you got to ask yourself why you're not. Are you not keeping the commandments? Are you doing the 1-2, skip a few routine? Stop skipping. Do all of it. Quit being lazy. Repent, right? This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. That's why we got midweek meditation, because we're trying to give you some meditation. And I'm only coming at you once a week and giving you all the content to go review back. So you got all throughout the week to get to, but you got new content every week. You got daily verses. You got Bible trivia, but you're not using it because you're not really trying to meditate. You're not using it because you're really not about that prosperity. You like poverty. You like being at the bottom. You like the other nations having what's yours. Or not. Maybe you're changing. Maybe you're different. You know, there's an audience here. I don't know who's for or against, who's right or wrong, who's good or bad. All I know is there's no man that sinneth not. It says that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. That's why it's important that you do read your whole Bible, so you can deal with all of it. But apply what you learn. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous. That's the point in which you get prosperous, Gabrielle. Then shall thou have good success. That's when your success is going to actually improve. Nikki, P. Don, CJ, Elijah. Things change when you change. See, we want things to change, but we don't want to change. But things change when you change. Have you changed? Like, you say you've been knowing this truth for all this long. Have you changed? Or are you still the same one person? See, there's a brother or sister that say, well, that's how I am. That's how I've always been. That's your problem. Stop saying that. Stop owning up to that. Change. Break the barriers. Be the difference maker. Joshua 13:6. All the inhabitants of the hill country, from Lebanon unto Mishra-Pathaim, and all the Zidonians, them will I drive out from before the children of Israel. So again, remember, the thing that has been is that which shall be. We're going to repeat history again. God's about to drive people out of land again, and they're heathens again. Only divide thou it by the lot unto the Israelites for inheritance. He's doing it for Israel again. Oh, is that something new? No. It's what he's always done. He keeps doing it for you. Only divide it by lot unto the Israelites for an inheritance, as I have commanded thee. That's part of the commandments. Proverbs 13:22. A good man, I want you to take notice of this, because I said earlier that you brothers, you're not used to getting an inheritance from your parents. You sisters either. And therefore, you're not even working toward doing it for your kids. But a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. A good man leaves such an inheritance. Not only does he have his children covered, but he got his grandchildren covered as well. And the wealth of a sinner is laid up for the just. The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. What does that mean? Well, we got to read a little bit more. Sirach 41:6. Start at 5. The children, let's start at 4. And why art thou against the pleasure of the Most High? There is no inquisition in the grave, whether thou have lived 10 or 100 or 1,000 years. The children of sinners are abominable children. And they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners shall perish, and their prosperity shall have perpetual reproach. So when we read in Proverbs 13:22, it said that the wealth of a sinner is laid up for the just. Why? Because the sinner, his children are going to be abominable children. And their inheritance, the children's inheritance, is going to perish. Because they're not going to deal with it in a righteous way, which God is going to then take it away. And their prosperity become perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake. See, some of us are going to be the reason why our kids don't amount to anything. And that's why you got people that say, you're just like your daddy. That's why the scriptures say, as is the mother, because these are negative proverbs. We want it to be in positivity, not negativity. It says, woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High, God. Woe unto you that forsake God's laws. For if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction. So even, because a lot of people think that when they got money, they blessed. When they got prosperity, they're blessed by God. But God is letting you know that even if you do increase, it shall be to your destruction. It actually may not be to your value. May not. That's why the scripture says it's hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. Because now you even further away from God. Even though you think that your riches are bringing you closer. Or you being closer got you the riches. But all the wicked people know they're wicked. Don't act like you don't know. And if ye be born, ye shall be born to a curse. And if ye die, a curse shall be your portion. So let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:11. Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. See, we got to think about it like that. We need to pass down wisdom as the chief principal thing. You'll get the money. You'll get the fame. You'll get all of that. But you got to pass down the right mindset. And the right mindset can't get passed down if you don't live the right mindset, because we teach through our action. Your children are watching you. Those people around you, your neighbors, your friends, your family, they're watching you. And they see that you're wicked, and you're the reason why they won't repent. How are they going to repent when they smoke weed with you? How are they going to repent when they're the ones having sex with you? How are they going to repent when you're doing the things that God said don't do in front of these people? Wisdom is a defense. That's the thing that's going to keep you from getting got by all the troubles of Jacob. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight, which is he that made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider. God hath set the one over against the other, to the end that the man should find nothing after him. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in wickedness. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? See, He's asking you to not look at life and death as the meaning of if someone's righteous or not. Riches as the meaning of someone's righteous or not. You know, a righteous person may die early because God want to take him out of this wicked world that you're still in. A wicked man may live long so he can continue to suffer. God does these things differently. But at the end of the day, your inheritance is gone. Your heritage is taken away because you don't want it. You mad at Trump. You think Biden's maybe a problem with Kamala Harris. But it's you. You mad at the fake Jews. But it's you. You mad that all the other nations get above us. But it's you. So what you going to do? That's the question I ask. And that's why it's so important that we share this, because this is the message that needs to then be the thing that we come together in one accord in. We can't overtake the nations if we're arguing about, oh, women this versus men that. Gay rights this. We can't, nope. Let's kill the babies. Let's do the abortion. Nope. It's okay to have white women. Nope, that's not. All of those things are distractions. Now, somebody may not know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is so many things that God told us don't do. He said, don't marry other nations. We do that anyway. And then we make it a thing that we fight for in the government. But God said, don't do it. God said, don't lie with man as you lie with mankind. Then we go and fight for it in the government. Even though God said, don't do it. President said we could do it. So now you're cool. Thou shalt not kill. Well, we can abort babies. They said we could do it in the law, so cool. You know, we do everything the opposite of what God says, but when are you going to change that? So with that, that's the thought that you got to have when you look at the daily verses and you see that we're talking about who the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are and how impoverished they are because they're not trying to do God's commandments. And they're trusting and relying on the people that actually were wise enough to get us to stop doing God's commandments, to make strategy out of it, to Psalms 83 us, and have that crafty counsel. So I want y'all to meditate on that. They took our inheritance, but really we gave it away. And we got to take it back. God kept giving us the chance and the opportunity. Are you going to take the chance and the opportunity? So with that, I'm going to say shalom. I want to shout out to those of you who are loyal subscribers that hit that share button. For those of you who've been donating, thank you for the donations I recently received. Making sure those things go to a good cause. In building the church. And supporting the people. And giving them something to benefit them in rebuilding the nation. I want to thank those who are part of the team who are posting the daily verses, the quizzes, doing the artwork, who's helping me out. Couldn't do it without you. And with that, I just want to say shalom. And if you want to donate, please go to midweekmeditations.com/donation. I'm going to place that on the screen shortly. And with that, I say shalom.